because home cooking. I am talking better, but if I seem a little short of breath, that's because I'm still got the phlegm and stuff I have to deal with. All right. For the lady who asked me for recipes with cottage cheese and other things that she can make other than omelets and serving with a fruit, I found two recipes that call for ricotta cheese, but you can use cottage cheese in place of these two recipes. Now, one of them is called ricotta wheat buns. We could sit there and put cottage cheese in place of it, but go through the steps that you would normally go through. And the one I'm going to make this morning and show you how to do it, and you can use cottage cheese in place of it. Now, if you make your cottage cheese, it should be more on the drier side than you get into the store. If you're buying your cottage cheese from the store, it's creamier, so you're going to have to drain it to get a lot of that fluid off of it to make the dish that we're going to be making, the rolls that we're going to make today. And by the way, these are delicious. I'm not lying. They're great. I love these. Okay, let's see. I have to read down, make sure I got everything. Yeah, I think I have everything. All right, you're going to need a half a cup of milk and a half a stick of butter, and you've got to warm that up on a low flame. All right. You're also going to need, they said, a fourth of a cup of warm water. So I'll go ahead and I'm not using warm water, I'm using cool water from the tap, and that's what I'm going to be using. So I hope the woman who's looking for cheese recipes, this helps. I've been going through my cookbooks. It takes me a little long. I think I have a cottage cheesecake. I just have to find that. And I'm not sure. Don't hold me to it because somebody might have stolen it. A lot of people have stolen my books, like my cookbooks. I have lost a lot of really, really good recipes. So sometimes it gives me a problem when they do that. All right, into a bowl, we're going to add a fourth of a cup. They say warm water, but I'm just using tepid, not tepid, just what's there. And good morning, Mr. Hand. We're also going to add into this, let me see, I gotta remember, I don't remember everything. We're gonna add a teaspoon of sugar into this bowl as well. This will help get your yeast going. So my water is not warm, it's cold, but I know my yeast is active, so I don't have to worry about it because I check the dates on it all the time. So how many packages are we going to use? One, okay. So we have our butter and stuff going. And we'll get this yeast going. I'm still looking for the bread that uses ricotta as well to help you with this. I'm making creamy cheese rolls. I'm still looking for the for my cheese bread. I haven't found it yet. Now remember, you don't have to melt the butter and warm milk completely. When the milk is warm, it'll finish melting your butter on your own. Yeah, they're delicious. I have the word delicious next to the see, right there, delicious. There's some things we just like, and I have to mark my cookbooks up. That's the only way I can keep people from stealing them, because everybody likes a nice, clean cookbook. Now, my mother was like that. She never marked anything up, and she never lost too many cookbooks. Of course, at that time, women didn't come into other people's homes. Today, everybody's more open about coming in and out of everybody's home. And I've lost cookbooks and recipes, and though I told them I'd share them with them, it seems that they were not happy about that. They just wanted it. Now, you know I'm going to play around with this to get this in here. Okay, this is really hot. I've got to cool this down. You know the butter's not completely melted yet, but I'll stir it, and that will help it because the milk is hot enough. You do not have to boil the milk like we used to in the 1960s and stuff. You just have it hot. Oh, God. Yeah, they are very good. These are a treat to have with for breakfast. You could have sausage and have this together, but I am going to show you how to make your own breakfast sausage. The seasonings. We go fast through these. They won't last 2 days. I know how we feel about these. These are very good. Now see, I had about 2 tablespoons left in here, but the milk was hot enough. If I just stir it around, it'll just finish melting. And I'm trying to cool it down, and we have the yeast here trying to get going. Okay, so we've got 2 things going. Once we get this, we start throwing everything in this and get it going. Okay, we got this. Now that can cool there. Now we're going to put our flours together. We need a small bowl for that. Okay. We want 1 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour. For those of you that are thinking about changing the flour ratio, do not. I've already tried it. They don't come out as well. All right, and you're going to need 1/4 cup of whole wheat flour. I already did it. Didn't work. They were heavy. These come out very nice. A nice ratio of the whole wheat flour to it. Hi, Michael. It seems the men are up first. But this is for the lady who was looking for recipes for cottage cheese. She's going to replace the ricotta with cottage cheese, and it should come out just fine. Okay. And for the salt, you're going to need 1/2 teaspoon. You're going to mix the flours up. And the reason why they recommend that you mix this up is you don't want a clump of whole wheat in one area and not enough on the other. Tigra, you like to cook? That's great. That's fun. I am going to try, if I have time this afternoon, because today is wash day, I am going to hope, if I don't have it today, I am going to make some muffins that you are not going to believe. I haven't given them a name yet, but they're going to have lime in them. And what else in it? Chili in it. Oh yeah, we're going there. We're going to go in a different direction, that's for sure. Now, if you can see real carefully, the yeast is starting to develop bubbles. Very, very small. I don't know if you can see them. We are making creamy cheese rolls. And good morning to everybody. Thank you. Michael, I just saw your message. It's very hard when I'm cooking and doing this. All right, you're gonna need, I need to get this cool so we can get this thing going. Yeah, it's getting there. I wonder. Let's put the egg in here and see if I can bring it down. I know. They're saying wash your hands. It's my family. I'm sick. We're all sick, so don't worry. I'm going to add an egg in here. All right, hold on. Cool, I did that. And prepare the filling, mix together the filling. All right, where do you want me to put the sugar? Hold on, I'm trying to find out where the sugar is. I haven't made this recipe in 2 years. Oh, shoot. All right, I'm looking for the sugar, honestly. This recipe, I forgot I didn't sit there. Let's see, a large bowl, dissolve the yeast and a teaspoon of sugar in the warm water, which I did, and I'm doing. In a saucepan, heat the milk and butter over low heat. Yeah, I did that. Cool, lukewarm, I'm working on that. The flour, the whole wheat and salt, we did. Stir the milk. Mixture in the egg. Yeah, I did that. Then stir in the flour mixture until it's smooth and elastic. All right, now place dough on a log, reach coated. All right, yeah, I know it's going to take time. Roll spread evenly within one starting along edge, roll up like jellies. All right, preheat oven, prepare glaze, brush with rolls. What do you want me to do with? No, see, this is where you mess up. We need 2 tablespoons of sugar in here. All right, they left this part out. Add 2 tablespoons of sugar. This is why sometimes when you're doing recipes, you have to take your time, because this does happen. Anybody who cooks knows you can get a recipe and then all of a sudden, wait a minute, this is not coming out the way it's supposed to. This feels nice and warm. It should be fine. I got a cold egg in here. Now there'll be 2 lives on this, because there's no way I can sit there, and this is going to take time. And I'm not going to, you can't pause a live for hours, which makes it difficult, because it'll either turn off or turn back on its own while we're waiting for this to rise. So we added the egg and the milk and the butter, extra sugar, and we're adding the flour now. Yeah, well, I don't have to do it that way. I've been doing this for years. I already know what I'm doing. Okay. So if I find that cottage cheese cheesecake, I will give you that too as well. But a lot of people don't think about adding cottage cheese as a side dish, and I do sometimes. Maybe you could try making rolls with it. Take a roll recipe that has cheese in it and try it with cottage cheese and see how it comes out. There's a good chance it might come out very, very nice. Most of my recipes that I have will ask for cheddar cheese, but if it asks for ricotta, and I don't have ricotta and I have cottage cheese, I'll use my cottage cheese. You know something? This is not going to work. This is not enough. We're going to have to add more flour than this. This is not going to work. See, I forgot what this, it's been so long since I've done it. I forgot to mark it down that the sugar added with the yeast, it'll get it growing, don't worry. You'll see it bubbling very fast and foamy. Now, I know we're going to have to knead this. Can't tell me otherwise, but how long do you want me to knead this? Okay, how long? Smooth and elastic. Okay, you got 5 to 10 minutes kneading. They said this is going to be a soft dough, which it will be. I can vouch. I made it. I remember it. And I know it's awesome. This is a very soft dough that we're going to be working with today, but it's going to be well worth it. You see how soft it is? It's very, very soft. Guys, keep on writing. I am trying to work. Where did I put them? See, I never remember I put my glasses. I lost them yesterday. 3 a.m.? Okay. Saman? We're making rolls. We are actually making creamy cheese rolls. And believe you me, they are well worth it. I have some recipes that are well worth it. Like regulars. I call them, people say regulars. When they first came out, oh my God, they were sinful. Now they make them cheap, or people have made them cheap. They've lost their taste and all. They're just not as rich. Because when they first came out, they were very rich. This is what people do. They'll take recipes and cut down on it. The time? 2 minutes of 6 a.m. Well, I'm getting over a cold. That's why I am tired. I even had to take my stud out so I could work. You know, just cleaning up and getting Vicks and stuff in my nose. Thank you. Yeah, a lot of people are taking shortcuts. Now we're going to have to knead this for about 10 minutes. I'm only putting flour enough to keep it from sticking, and then we'll get it to rise, and that'll be the end of this video until it's risen, and then we'll fix it. Apache sent 100. Thank you. Apache, I think. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm going to try. I said, it's got to be interesting. I was told my son what I was going to make. I'm hoping to make it today or tomorrow. And he said, Mommy, you know nuts will go excellent with that. I said, I know. He said, I think pecans. I said, yeah, I was too, but I think we should sit there and toast the pecans to bring out that oil flavor of it. Do you know I did not know who Martha Stewart was until the case I never heard of her. I had never heard of that lady until I heard what she did, and she was going to court. This is what I would call a light whole wheat. So good morning, everybody who's on. See how light it is? It's really a nice one. I'm going to add a little more flour, so I have a little more kneading to do. And then we'll clean that bowl and get it set up. I know you've seen me kneading different ways. This should finish it up. We'll let this rise, and that'll be the close of this video. Just remember, the second part will be coming up later when we have to shape them and get them ready. See how nice this is? Isn't that beautiful? Nice and smooth. That's what you want. Good night, Pearl. We're making I never remember the name, a creamy cheese rolls, which are very good. Good night, Pear. I guess you're going to bed. I am not a retired baker. I've been baking all my life. I retired from modeling is what I did. Pearl, go to bed and get some rest. It's all right. You can see the video later, okay? That's what I modeled, actually. I was an artist model. And I modeled for 1, 2, 3 artists. And after that, when they stopped, and retired. 2 of them died. Well, they're all dead now, okay, because I was younger than them. And no, I knew a lot of artists. They're all dead now because I was the young one. I modeled for them, and then when they died off or quit, their careers, I sat there and stopped and retired myself. When I was younger, all my time was spent in the church. Oh, you like banana nut muffins? I don't have pictures. They were paintings and they were sold. I don't have them. I only have 2 left. But that's what I did. But when I was growing up and stuff, mine was volunteering in the church. People paid for those paintings, and I learned to stand still. Let's say, if nothing else, for hours and hours and hours on end. because you can't move or anything else. Okay, how do you do it? You just sit there and go in your head and go far off into another place inside of you, and that's how you do it. A lot of people from other countries can't believe that you do that. I said, yeah. And a lot of people don't realize models can say no. Okay, I'm in New York, Cherie. Thank you, Chef. But I've been cooking since my mother had me crawling up into a chair as she taught me how the grease pans was my first job. Second job was learning to clean up after yourself. And after that, I just kept going. And Julia Child taught me a lot. Then James Beard. Then the ARE about nutrition and stuff and other holistic medicine and stuff. And from there, I went into Adele Davis, and I've just been going ever since, and I just keep on going. Sherry, oh, you upstate New York, okay. So that's what my career was. And we didn't work 9 to 5. Artists like to work at night. So I learned. It was very difficult at first because I grew up waking up early in the morning. So when I went to bed early, but artists start in the evening and paint all night. So I had to readjust my schedule around. And being pregnant didn't stop it either. You still had to model for the artist, you know, to take the poses and stuff. So you do it. But as a model, you have a right to decide if you want to do model for a painting. I had one artist that came at me, and she wanted to take pictures and do paintings of me giving birth. Oh, Jessica, you're in Mississippi. Okay. And I told her, no, I wouldn't do that. I go to a point, and then I said, no, the birth of my child is going to be private. So she went and got the other artist who knew me, and they told her point blank, Sandy is not that kind of woman. Don't do it. And and she said, please ask her. And they said, look, I don't want to ask you, Sandy. But I said, did she ask you? And she said, yes. I tell her the answer is no, I'm not going to do it. And they said, well, they went back to her and told her. No, she wanted to take pictures while he was coming out of me. You know, that's what she wanted. She wanted the birth. She wanted to be there as the head was. You just started to see the head, the crowning on. She was going to do a whole series of paintings. And I told her no. I said, no. That is a very intimate moment, and I would not give her that pleasure. And she tried to get the other artist that I posed for to do it. And I told them, don't ask. They told her no, Sandy's not, but she pushed. So I finally saw her because she was at the studio where I was modeling. She pulled me to the side, and I told her point blank, go have a child and have your husband take pictures of you as you push the child out. She said, well, I've got 4. I don't need any more. I said, well, you're not getting mine. No. And we had it out, and I never talked with her. Cherie, worse, I think. The whole structure of the family, governments and everything, everybody's minding everyone's business. They're breaking the law more than before. They're not letting law officers do what they have to do. Criminals are getting out of prison easier and everything else. There's, overcrowding, and it's just a mess. I just don't think it's very good right now. No, she didn't want a recreation. She wanted the real thing. And I told her no, I would not do that. I said, no, I'm not. And she said, come on, Sandy. I said, no, you go have a child. Have your husband take pictures between your legs as the child's coming out. I said, no, I'm not giving that. I'm sorry. And that was stupid, you know? There's a point in modeling that you have to say no to. You know, I don't care how people feel. You just have to. You have to say no. There's a point that you go and you say no, no. And that was me. I just said no. Some people will push you too far, and that's when you put your brakes on. I said no. You know, like people tell me, you have to believe in Islam. I said, no, I don't. I don't have to do that. I don't have to do anything. As a child, I had to listen to my parents and every parent in the neighborhood, the church, the school, and everything else. But I'm an adult, full grown, as the men have come through my life that I have known as some of the dearest friends and all, they said, I am a full grown ass, an adult. Well, they would say man, you know. And they said, I will do what I damn well want. Yeah, they were pretty blunt when they said it. I will do what I damn well want, and I'll answer for what I've done. I'm a full grown man. I said, okay. Okay, so we're there, and now, listen, my kitchen is cool. I cannot tell you how long it's going to take for this to rise. You can check every hour or so, or just, you know, put up, if there's a bell that lets you know. Well, yeah, you would know if you subscribe or join, a bell they say goes off to let you know that I'll be live again, because I will do a live when it comes to rolling this out and designing the rolls and stuff, and then I'll give you the cooking time and the temperature, and then you can sit there and do that part yourself. Okay, so listen, Sheree, yes, I am. I've made, I think, I understand what I went through with my life. All right, I understand I had karma. I probably said some things, and that's why it was said back to me in this life, so I understand how it feels. I also understand that when my father told me he hated me and that I ruined his life, I was heartbroken. But once I learned about karma and reincarnation and all, I said I must have said something very hurtful, and it bothered him enough in whatever life that was, that those words had to be here from me. Oh, we got Korea here too. Okay. And Ariel, Norman, everyone's saying good morning. We're all saying good morning. So I knew I had said something to hurt him, and it hurts me to this day. So I can imagine that I put such words that cut him so deep in another life. I have to say the soul, that he had to come back and say something to hurt me, that I would have to carry that hurt for the rest of my life, in this life. So I would understand it. I think that's why I try not to get angry at people, though I do sometimes. They can really push, if you know what I mean. But I always try to have a good word from somebody. I try, because of that hurt. Heaven knows how many other people I might have said something in another life and hurt them. So I'm very careful with my words. Unless you come at me, I will not. I will be most respectful. Yes, we do, Julian. Many, many. And we're on a time clock, you know, and before Father gets really pissed with us. So we have to be very careful. See, now, when you say you never get angry, you get even, that's karma. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. And you could end up coming back, seeing the same people many times, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, until finally somebody grows up from it. get burned when we did. Thank you. Uh, when you get hurt, all right, this happened to my husband and I. We had a partner in a business, and she wanted us to sit there and give her $250,000, which we didn't have. She wanted us to take the loan out on the business. And what we found out before we got that money, yeah, I was just looking at my cookie book to make some cookies soon. And we found out she had embezzled over $250,000. And she left the country because the mafia was after her and the courts were after her, so she left the country. And what she had done was she had drugged the whole business down because I was sick. My husband was giving all the attention to me because I was dying, and he was trying to get me back on my feet, so he couldn't run the business or anything with, he left it with her to run until he got better. We found out she was into gambling and heroin, and she used all the money for that. And we lost. We got burnt. We survived. I was hurt, but I wasn't vengeful after her. The mafia was going after her, so what did I have to worry about? They were going to take care of that because they wanted their money that she took. So if somebody burns you, let it go. Give it back to God. God knows how to take care and punish them better than you do. I was hurt. I was really hurt. Now, the time I really got mad was when we had the car accident and I had just had a baby. And I had no muscle tone. The back was weak. I almost broke my back in that car accident. I was really pissed then. Now, that I was mad about because I did not want to be a crippled. I am 72 and I am not looking for a mate. Yes, only the body gets cremated, not the soul. The soul is you. What you see this body. But if I wasn't in this body, you'd just see a body. All the expressions, the talking, and the way I think and all of that is my soul expressing itself through the body that you can relate to and see. Yeah, I know. I understand that. But if you want to hold the grudge, you go ahead and hold the grudge. I'm not going to tell you not to. If you want to, you can. I'm just saying that if you do that, then you'll come back with that person in another life, and what was done to you, you had the choice to forgive, which is the law of grace, which God likes preferably, or the law of karma. I am going to do back to you what you did to me. And they'll feel that hurt and anger, and then they'll come back in another life, and they'll want to do it back to you until one of you decides it's got to stop. Now, I know two women, and they had a reading, and they found out they'd been together for 99 years. They've been brothers and sisters, they've been husbands and wives, and they've been good friends, and they still have not worked their problem out. And they've been at it for 99 years. And they said, I pray we got it right this time. I used to laugh. The thing is that I don't, people say soulmates. I think soulmates, this is a personal opinion. I am not writing it in stone that you have to believe me. But when it comes to soulmates, I think these are souls that have karma and they're trying to work it out, and they've come back so much in different lives trying to work out this karma that people see them as soulmates, and they're really not. It's just that they have a lot have to work out through each other to move forward. You don't lose anybody. You really don't. All right, I can tell you that much. The body might die, but the souls are very much alive. Now they're taking, some people take pictures and they see a relative. Uh, that is, the soul comes to let you know. Babies are very quick to see the other world because they're very, very young and they just come through, so they're still open and they have that connection. Uh, when you get older, before you close your eyes, a lot of people will start seeing the other side because The loved ones are coming to help them over to the other side. That's all it is. Now, is according to what level you are at. Do you go to hell or heaven? I know hell is not opened yet because God says that'll be on judgment and he'll give the angel the keys to open it. People say, I've seen hell. Hell isn't open yet. You can't get in there. Right now, we have, let's say, stairs. All right, stairs to heaven. Let's put it that way. Very simple to help you understand. If you do good deeds, you move up the stairs. If you do bad deeds or things you shouldn't be doing, you slide back down. But it's a scale, just like Wall Street. You go up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, until you finally get to that point where you have a choice of coming back to the earth or not coming back. But the problem is purgatory is not open, and it's already known that it's not open if you know how to read that Bible. And the thing is beautiful about this is that most of the people who make it all the way to the top and to heaven see their brothers and sisters, because we're all brothers and sisters. We see our brothers and sisters failing, and you can bet the majority will come back to the earth to help lift you up, and once again they get caught in the karma and they have to work their way back up. But our love for each other in the spiritual world goes very, very deep, and we do sacrifice to come down, these people who have made it there, to help our brothers and sisters. How can we do that? Julian, by being the best we can. If you're angry at somebody, why are you angry? Well, I didn't like the way they dressed, or I didn't like the way they talked. That has to go back to something in your past in another life, that they probably made fun of you with your voice or something, and now you have to listen to them because you mocked them. So there's a lot that goes on. There isn't a thought, there isn't an action or a word that we get past. We're going to have to answer to all of that. No, they are not. They have a chance. We keep coming back. Nobody is held over there. No, they have a chance to better themselves as well. Everybody does. We can fall all the way down, and that hand is still reaching out, and if we grab it, it'll be given to us. Oh, I know. No, I'm up for it. You can pray about it. Sometimes asking for forgiveness goes a long way. It really does. But I always tell people, be the best that you can. I wanted to be part of the in crowd, but I realized, no, I didn't want to go down the wide road that everybody else went down. I went down a more quiet road, as they say in life. And that was for me. It works for me this way. But I always tell people, be the best that you can every day of your life. Sometimes if people ask you for money, they're ridiculous, okay? But sometimes if you're talking to somebody, they need a hug. Sometimes they need a kind ear. Sometimes they'd like to have a friend. You never know, but some of the simplest things that we do in kindness are really the greatest things you can do, you know? And that's what I try to do. Am I perfect? Heck no. I falter just like the rest of you, but I work very hard trying to be the best that I can, you know? You can pray about it, but you also have to take action into the better now. You know when you're doing right and when you're doing wrong, and you know you're going to do something and you want to do it. That's your choice. You can't get away from it. Choice. That's why I tell everybody, what do you think when God says, why did you do this? What are you going to tell him on Judgment Day? There's only one answer you can give him. You can't blame somebody else. The only answer you've got is, I did it because I wanted to, because that's why you did. You did it because you wanted to. Hi, Pearl. Hi, Jessian. I'm not saying that right, am I? Jaxin. I can't pronounce that. So this is how I believe. This is why I try to live the way I do. I know that You can say, well, drugs made me do this, then why'd you take the drugs? Uh, well, why'd you kill this person? Because I didn't like him, he got in my way. There's no excuse. Uh, why'd you yell at this person? You did it because you wanted to. Well, I didn't like the way they were doing something. Well, I don't like the way they look, or I don't like the way they sound, or I just don't like that person because their color is different than mine. I mean, you can come up with a million and one excuses. Try a million and one kindnesses, and then you're really in trouble. Yes, memory, I understand what you're saying. I know God created everything in the beginning. Believe you me, I do not believe billions and billions of years. Okay, I'm sorry. Like I said, I think every cell has made by God, all over my body. But anyway, this is how I perceive and try to live my life to the best of my ability. If there's a problem, like if a man is hurting a woman, I would expect another man to come in and stop it. If somebody's trying to hurt somebody, I think we should try to help, but then there's a point where you can't because you could get in trouble. What is the best verse? Uh, I'll be here thinking for a while. I think this is weird. I'm going to say this. You won't find it in the Bible, but I think when he sits there and says, I can go home, I think that would be the best verse is when you're called home. But that's not in the Bible. A lot that Christ said. I love, I love the verses of the creation. I love to read the first part. I really enjoy that. And I love when Christ was born. I like the verses where it talks about in Revelation heaven. I like the verse that he will come. There's so much I like about it. A lot of people are hypocrites too. Julie, you got to be careful. Uh, I have the 1611, or is it the 1311? I have the really old one where a lot of one third of the Bible was cut out because I wanted to read the other third of the Bible that was missing. And I enjoy that. I don't always read it because I'm so busy running this business and running a house. But I wake up sometimes and uh, I'll sit there and say good morning. And sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I really think very hard about things and God and how to put it. Yes, they do. Uh, so I could say he's in my mind. If I'm not thinking, I will be having him on my mind. So remember, everybody sees a little different, but I studied and I got answers to everything because I had a lot of whys. And it answered a lot of questions for me for what I was looking for. Maybe it wouldn't answer. Oh, hi, New Zealand. So I'm not sure if, if my answers and the way I perceive things would answer your questions, but they answered mine. Reincarnation answered some things that I didn't understand. Why do children already have their personality? You know, where'd you get that from? That didn't come from us, So that answered that question. I learned about, when I read about Cain and Abel, I said, if one son dies because the other son killed him, how can he And God says an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. This is the law of karma. So if you kill somebody in another life, they're going to come back and kill you. All right, that's just a simple philosophy. And I said, okay, that answered some questions for me. Reincarnation. And then I said, well, kingdoms. And people said, well, I want to come back as a fish, or I want to come back as an otter, or I want to be a tree or something. And I was reading, and I learned from the readings from the ARE that we have different kingdoms. We have the plant kingdom, we have the animal kingdom, we have the insect kingdom, and we have the planets kingdom, and we have human kingdom. And I found out that the plants can come back when they die. They can come back as different plants. The insects can come back as different insects. Animals can come back as different animals. And that man can come back, but he can come back male or female. Now, according to what karma you have to deal with, you will either be born a male or a female. Let's see, that's the trick. A lot of people don't know. And you can get permission and ask if you can come back as a male or a female. And you have this. So, according to what kind of karma you have to deal with, you come back as a male or a female. Now, if you come back sterile and you can't have children, I found out through readings and stuff, that's because you aborted a lot of children, or you threw children away. You didn't want them. You didn't mind getting somebody pregnant, but you walked away. Or a woman said, I don't want this child. She gets rid of it. So when you come back, you're sterile and you'll want to have children and you won't be able to have children. So you have to adopt because of what you've done. You see, things like that. If you hurt an animal and torture them, though we do eat meat and animals and stuff, we have to do it humanely, killing them. If we don't, when these animals come back, you hear how some people are attacked by animals. That's because that animal has a right to get back for what you did to it because you tortured it. Thank you, somebody. That's very nice. But I learned all of that. And I learned that the planets are sleeping. They're not dead, they're sleeping. I learned that the plants were all the planets were full of life, different kinds of life, but they were full of different kinds of life. And there was a big war with the angels. Getting rid of the angels who sat there and went against God had to be thrown down. And the planets were put to sleep for this, but they will be woken up in time again. We just have to wait. So these are things that I have read. They answered a lot of questions. Like I said, they answered a lot of questions to me. I understood it. Yes, my husband's body is dead, but I know he's very much alive. I don't have to worry about that. Are there demons on this earth? Yes, there are demons. They're not, you can't always see them unless you have second sight, and then you can see them. And they are out there. And when you see them, believe you me, they rattle you to the core. They're huge. They can take possession of people who are weak, or if you're drunk, or you've got drugs and stuff. Your willpower is dropped down, and they can come in and they can do a lot of harm. And then the people won't know that that's a demon, but they're going to remember you, and then you have to pay the karma for what they've done. If you get evil thoughts, you can bet they're whispering into your ears and stuff. They wreak havoc on us. So anything that really sits there and talks about destruction and stuff, saying to do this or to worship man, this is all wrong. Oh, another idiot. Carrying on. The thing is that this is a lot of things that I perceive and I see. I probably see it differently than most people. But I know when the body dies, the soul, which is really you. You only express yourself through a body. When the body goes, you're still very much alive, and according to your level, will dictate where you fall on that ladder of going up or down, and nobody can answer it. And when you leave, you usually have your loved ones helping you over. Okay, now is that enough for now? Because we do have to wait for this to rise. Okay, and I've got a mess to clean up, so I want all of you. And Scurvy, clean your mouth up, please. When you talk, I'm going to tell you, if you say, "Oh, to hell with it," you're cursing and you're causing negative energy, okay? If you sit there and say, "God bless you," bring better energy. If you sit there and hurt people or animals or anything, you're going to have to answer for every little thing that you do and say. And the thing that will bring you down faster than anything is that thing that's inside your mouth that makes sounds, which is your tongue. Your mouth is going to be what will kill you and destroy you. Well, Jethro, we're going off for now. We'll probably be back online as soon as this rises, and we will finish up on these rolls on part 2. But all of you, enjoy your morning. Have your coffee or tea. Okay? And take care. In a little bit, you'll see me again. I just have to wait for this to rise because there's nothing else I can do for now because my son's going to be cooking bacon and liver today. He's going to learn how I make it because it's in here and I've never written it down. So take care for now. Bye for now. Bye-bye.